Hi, welcome to this edition of MTG Playback. I'm Mark. I'm an actual pastor who plays Magic the Gathering, and this whole series is where I play a game on Arena and then talk about it afterwards. I'm excited because my green, white, with a splash of blue poison deck has done well, so now I'm starting to get into the gold level 2, which is new for me. Again, I'm not a very great player, so this is a new level for me, and it means I'm facing decks that I'm more likely to see in my local gaming store when I go to play Standard. So this deck today is a version I've seen other streamers stream, and so I'm going to play against it, and it's a version of Superfriends, which is just a bunch of Planeswalkers. So, spoiler alert, I am going to lose, but it's going to take a while, and let's talk about it and see what happens. Alright, this is a nice hand, sort of. I've got 4 lands available. I've got 1... but not like a green that I can do on the very first turn, which is really frustrating. They play the Shipwreck Marsh, and they have a blue. So I was thinking originally it was going to be some kind of Dimir. I mean, it is Dimir, but just kind of the standard one that's very popular right now. And then we see Rona. All right, so I finally get a forest. So I'll play my Venerator Rock Priest. And just, you know, at first, I'm kind of confused. I'm not quite sure what this deck is. Also, I noticed that, I don't have any counter spells. I don't have anything to protect myself at the moment. So that's not great. Again, apologize for the recording. I'm too high up, so you can't see how many cards are in their hand. So then they toss out a Void Wing, which I thought was interesting. I don't recall that being very popular. And then they bring Kaido. I was like, oh, okay, Superfriends. I know what this is going to happen. And so the idea is to... Actually, I'm not quite sure what the idea is for me in this case. Again, still trying to get them 10 poison. But I'm not quite sure what I'm here to do. So, just I'll block. I know they just did that attack so they can draw a card and not have to discard it. And then they phase out, so I can't attack it right now. That's 3 Slaughter Singers. I have 4 in my deck. That's a lot. I really could use some counter spells or something else, some Fading Hopes, etc. But I do need to get poison on the board. I wish I had a Skrelv. Skrelv would have been much nicer here, because then I can keep doing... Or other things, because I can keep doing more and more poison. My goals are not to get that to 7, but we'll see what happens. We will see. So this is kind of where I wish I had my Rock Priest on that very first turn. I might have had a chance to do something. Alright, here comes a cut down, and I can't do anything. Well, so I kind of assumed at this point that they're going to have multiple spells, right? And they do. Multiple cut downs. So they've got 2 targeting this, and I've got 1 targeting it. So there's 1. It dies. There's a 3rd. My Tyvar stand doesn't exist to protect it, so that doesn't work, and they get a 4th. So they got 3, and then they play a Thunderbolt, which is a 1/1 flyer. Again, the proliferating is to keep pumping up their planeswalkers. And I don't have flyers in this deck, so there's not much I can do about that. Alright, Crawling Chorus, that's something. Not great, though. Again, not exactly what I could use. Decide, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to flood the board. Hopefully they can't do anything. Then I'm deciding, do I attack? Where do I attack? They've got 4 poison already. And then I decided to attack there. And that was... Well, I knew they'd have to block. Because I don't have trample or anything. But this is where, you know, a 2 toxic, getting them to 6 toxic at this point would have been awesome. So I'm expecting more cut downs, I'm expecting more removal for me. And here comes Vraska. Alright, another super friend. And this is a problem, right? Because she's going to turning my creatures into artifacts. And, ugh, that's frustrating. I wanted to pump them big to do damage, and they can't, so then I'm going to bring some blockers in, and I don't have trample or anything. So this is starting to feel frustrating, and I don't have any card draw. Alright, finally a Fading Hope. That's something. Play an island. Probably didn't need to put the Crawling Chorus out at front, but it's fine. Now I'm debating what I'm gonna do. Do I attack the Planeswalkers, knowing that they're gonna mess me up, or do I pack them to try to get the damage, the toxic? And so I decided to go after the Planeswalkers, knowing that they might block, or they might not. They're both gonna be 3/3s. But they have 2 toxic, so if I had gone after... Well, I wanted to block the Vraska because I wanted to go because they're going to turn another one of them into an artifact next turn. This was probably a mistake. This was a very big mistake. Because I'm going to Fading Hope a token, right? The block has already been assigned, so it doesn't matter. Damage isn't going to go through, so I made a mistake doing that. Got rid of a forest, which is helpful because I didn't want to draw that next turn too, but that was a mistake. I thought that would clear the block so I could go all the way through. It did not. What I should have done... Yeah, that was just a big mistake. Because I could have then had that to protect... If they use Vraska, I could have had that to protect something. So that was a mistake. I shouldn't have done that. Should have just let it kill and gone through. And here comes a Siren Stare, and I can't protect it, so it's going to turn in my hand, and then I get to proliferate. So yeah, frustrating. That was a pretty big mistake. Drew another land, so that's like another, you know, I'm glad I didn't get the force, but again, that's not just another land. Now I have to cast this again. And have nothing to protect it. That was pretty big. That was a pretty big mistake. And then I'm gonna decide to send them all at 1. Again, here's I'm debating. Do I go after the walkers, or do I go after and try to get toxic in? They're both 3/3s. They blocked the wrong... At first they're gonna block the wrong one. And they do block the wrong one, because that gets them up to 6. And again, here is, if I had some protection, like, I know they're gonna turn one of my creatures into something. Like, that, this was a... That protection would have been vital here. Here comes Liliana! Alright, we've got 3 planeswalkers on the field.
With the mysteries, I've come for answers.
Right, I can't, proliferating, and I can't do anything. I can't save it. So, then I have to sacrifice a creature. That's okay, because I'll get this one back. That's fine. But yeah, that's a pretty big miss. All right, here is something. Now I decided to do this. There's a scroll, there's a bloated contaminator, something big. And then I'm trying to decide, what do I get? Do I get a big thing or do I get a small thing that then maybe can pump up the toxic? I decided to go big. That's probably also a mistake. Now they're at 7. Again, if I had something to clear the board, that would be so much helpful. Like, right, I could if I had something that could get rid of that 1/1, that would have I would have gotten to 10 this turn. Here they remember and they recognize which one has the toxic too, so they learned. They're at 8. I think I could have won this game. Decided to play something big to threaten them. Not quite sure I need to, because I think they're gonna win. Here comes a 3/4. Spells can't be countered. That's frustrating. He has stuff that has, yep, here comes a cut down because they can bring it. There goes that. So now they have a blocker, and I only have... Now they've got a blocker. Turn my bloated contaminator into an artifact. And I gotta discard a card.
We all have things we can
So there's not much. I don't got much. And that's not gonna do it. Land's not gonna do it. And I think that's it. I would need to do that. I would need another experimental augury into a into an infectious bite to get them at this point. There they go. They've got 4 planeswalkers on the field. So this deck is like, I get why this deck works and why it's powerful, but its deck is, man, their deck is slow. It's pretty slow. So now they're going to start getting bigger creatures out. I'm at 20 life already, but I already can see. I've got to get really lucky. I've got to top deck something. Well, and there goes that creature, so I'm done.
What's the matter? Feeling overwhelmed?
And then they do, whenever they get to do creature damage, so now they can put another creature. And here comes Shelly. And here comes that hybrid bird. I get a crawling chorus, which is like nothing. And that's it. Alright, so that's actually how Super Friends work. I think Super Friends is beatable. I think it is. I think if I had saved that Fading Hope, if I had a counterspell or something, I could have really done some work here. So thanks for watching. Let me know if there's anything else you think I could do, or maybe if there's a card in my sideboard or something that I should put so I can handle Super Friends. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time for another edition of MTG Playback.